Hey everyone, welcome to 996 The Howl. For the uninitiated, this is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Much better headspace Sunday morning than Saturday morning. Just Friday night's game against the Wild. Can't really talk much about it, just straight up embarrassing, depressing, miserable, very frustrating, and disappointed in the team for how they came out Friday. Again, falling down with a 3 and a 4 goal deficit. It was 5 games in 6 games that the Coyotes found themselves trailing by at least 3 goals, a trend which can happen anytime in an NHL season. Thoughts were running through my head, what is this week going to bring? Any other, a Canadian team who had 5 games out of 6 trailing 3 goals would have done something drastic. If you could read between the lines here, Montreal did it and they were still 4 games above NHL 500, so you can tell what I'm trying to say. But the Saturday night game is making me reflect on those thoughts. A much better outing. They still trailed 2-0. A pretty uncomfortable spot. Here we go again. What's going to happen? How the Coyotes going to respond? They came out of the gate Saturday night good. A good 10 minutes of hockey, trading chances, getting some good looks, some offensive zone time. But at the 10-minute mark, Minnesota took over and finished that first period with 2 goals, looking like they did Friday night, controlling the play. Minnesota's kind of a weird team. They're not too fast. They don't use their speed to get goals and create chances. It's just once they gain the offensive zone, their offensive awareness and IQ is so good. They know where the open man is at all times. They love that play of a cross crease tip in. They were doing that a lot at the end of the first period. That led to Dumba's goal, where the Minnesota player has the puck off to the side of the goalie and throws it in front for a streaking Wild player to get a stick on it. So, the Coyotes were having trouble defending again late into the first. And then the second period, the tide sort of starts to change. They start to trade chances, and then there was one shift of Johan Larsson, Derek Brassard, and Phil Kessel where they had over 2 minutes of offensive zone time. They were hemming the Wild in their own zone. They managed the Coyotes to get their own line change. They had Keller and Dvorak out there. And from then on, the game changed. Once the Coyotes got that confidence, they could play in the Minnesota zone for over 2 minutes. They got right back at it. I believe they had 1 goal before then. I believe it was a 2-1 game. It could have been 2-0. But right after that, Chychrun scores his 6th goal. They said that he's tied for 3rd in the NHL for goals amongst D-men. So he's right there, couple more goals, he could be in the Norris conversation. I don't think he deserves it this season, but it will come. He's such a good player. I keep saying he's going to be the future captain of this team. His passion, his defensive play. He wants to get in on the rush now. He's joining the rush this season a lot, which is great to see. He's wanting to shoot the puck. He just needs to fix his accuracy a bit more. Even on his goal, I believe that puck was going to go wide or at least hit the post if it didn't hit that Wild player lying on the ice. But good to see Chychrun get that goal. They tie it 2-2. They go into the third period and they go guns blazing. They score 3 straight. One of them's an empty netter. Pitlick got a goal. Great to see him get rewarded. He's been really good for a good stretch of time, but hasn't been rewarded much. Great to see him get a goal. And Lawson Krause didn't even talk about him getting his first goal of this season, being put on a line with Schmaltz and Garland. So it's good to see that Garland has a big guy on his line. So if Garland gets manhandled a bit, Krause needs to step in, and he should, and rectify that situation. But you need Krause to start going, and he's not going to get it going playing on a line with Fisher and Chaput like he was Friday night. So it was great to see Talkie get some line changes from Friday into Saturday's game. They also played a short bench. I believe I did not see Gauthier, who played his first Coyotes game Saturday, or John Hayden in that third period or even late in the second. They kind of were held off the ice for much of the game. Christian Fischer had some looks. Christian's a dependable guy. He kills penalties. I think Talkett trusts Fisher more than any other fourth liner on the taxi squad or currently on the team. Tocchet is a guy known for playing all four lines, rolling all four lines, and the ice time is kind of evened up between all four lines. He's not scared to throw his fourth line, which is good. Not a lot of teams can do that. But when I saw this stat that the Coyotes are 10, 1, and 2 when scoring 3 or more goals, that's 10 out of their 11 wins. They scored 3 or more goals. So they need a scorer. And how do you get goal scoring? You get your most offensive players on the ice for the most amount of time. And if you're continuing to put out the fourth line continuously, those offensive players aren't going to get their looks. Their ice time decreases. So with a shorter bench, you roll 3 top-heavy lines and see if they could get it going. And the depth helped the Coyotes get that win Saturday night. They got Krause, Pitlick, and a goal from a defenseman to help them. And obviously Garland got a goal. Their star players in Garland, Schmaltz, and Keller, they've been producing consistently, even to a point of a Phil Kessel, I would say. Dvorak's been a bit quiet, but he's still got 9 goals. So they need their support, their role players. They need Krause to get some goals, Pitlick to continue scoring, but most importantly, their defense. It can't just be Chychrun. Ekman-Larsson has no goals. Goligoski has no goals. Demers has no goals. It was great to see Demers put back in the lineup. Lyubushkin was a healthy scratch. Demers looked rejuvenated, got some juice in his game, was throwing his body around, getting into scrums in front of the net. A couple good looks offensively. I believe he missed the net wide on a perfect opportunity in the slot once in Saturday night's game. But if Demers could keep that up, we need Demers and Ekman-Larsson to get back to that shutdown ways they had last season. They're a good pairing. You know, Goose and Chychrun are good. They need Ekman-Larsson and Demers back to their standard. And Hjalmarsson and Ostria are a good pairing too. We need Ekman-Larsson and Demers to be a good defensive pair, not give up too many offensive chances, be good in their own zone, and the offense will come. Phil Kessel had a great game, liking that line of Kessel, Larson, and Broussard. Kajula was also a healthy scratch. John Hayden got into a bit of a fight with Foligno. I wouldn't call that a fight, but they declared it a fight. So, I mean, it was a bad game Friday. It was good. The response was good. Saturday, after the first period was still, you can't go down holes, even if it's a small one like 2-0. The Coyotes still haven't scored a first period goal since February 13th, which is like, I think, 8 or 9 games, could be 10 games. We're reaching a month. It's almost March 13th. Today's March 7th, so it's almost a month that they haven't scored a first period goal. Terrible trend. I don't even know where this trend came from. It's not in the Coyotes' DNA to start games poorly. They're usually competitive throughout the whole game. They'll have some slumps. This season, they're an amazing second period team, a terrible first period team. Their third period, if they have the lead, they'll most likely turtle, or if they're tied, it's like Saturday night, it's good to see them put on the Jets and be hungry for more goals. They started a 7-game road trip Monday in Denver. They got back-to-back games against the Avalanche and then 3 straight against the Minnesota Wild. They're going to be tough games. I said that these 2 back-to-backs would be season-deciding circumstances, but like the Coyotes, they managed to win one and lose one and keep meandering around. And what's going to happen? Are they going to go on a terrible stretch downwards in the standings? Are they going to go on a positive run and climb the standings? But it seems like the Coyotes just meander around. They pick up points when they can. They'll have one bad game, then one good game. It's just about consistency and stringing together wins and stringing together good competitive games, which has been a problem throughout this whole shortened season so far. They got to get some points against the Avalanche. They got to learn how to play against the Avalanche. They can't just say, hey, these games we're going to lose and we'll try to pick up wins against other teams. It's like, no, the Minnesota Wild are winning games against the Knights. They're winning games against the Avalanche. Teams are getting their wins against those 2 teams. The Coyotes need to get a win against Colorado. It's their boogeyman. They need to play good hockey against them. They can't be so demoralized when playing the Avalanche. The Avalanche are their measuring stick. If they ever want to be an elite NHL team, they got to beat the Avalanche and beat them a lot and beat them and let the Avalanche play to their game. There was a 7-game playoff series in August where for 7 straight games, it wasn't 7, for 5 straight games, the Avalanche had their way with the Coyotes, made the Coyotes respond to them. In those 2 games last week, same thing. Coyotes couldn't really handle them. They lost one of those games 3-2, but they were down 3 Cobb until 5 minutes left into the game. So they need to learn. They need to get a game plan for the Avalanche. They need to start hockey on time. They need a good first period. And Tocchet has said that. Even coming home from LA, Tocchet said he's worried about just the first period against the Wild Friday night, and they failed. And then first period Saturday night, they failed. So it's a coaching problem. It's a player problem. I don't know if it's because of COVID protocols. They're not allowed at the arena until about an hour and a half before puck drop. I think in previous seasons you could go to the arena anytime you want. So maybe that's a problem for the team to get just in that hockey headspace. But it seems like the other teams don't have that problem at all. So it's a Coyotes problem. They need to work out starting games on time. Kemper had a good game, bit pedestrian in the first period, but he locked it up ever since. They need to get their goaltending back to a Coyote standard. Ranta had a terrible game Friday night. So Kemper, it's his net. Hopefully he doesn't ever lose it or ever get injured again. So it's a back-to-back, not back-to-back nights, but 2 games against the Avalanche on the road. Coyotes look like they're a better road team than a home team this season. Maybe less pressure from the limited amount of fans in Arizona, but looking for some good games against the Avalanche. And we'll see. I'm probably expecting a trade by the end of next week. I won't say who yet. We'll see how Monday night goes, and maybe I'll start making my predictions. But I expect a shake-up this week. Hopefully not. Hopefully the Coyotes beat the 2 games against the Avalanche. There's no shake-up. But looking at the lineup changes, maybe something's going to happen. Aiden Hill is on a conditioning stint in Tucson, so he can't stay in Tucson forever. So I think after that conditioning stint, maybe we'll see a shake-up in the goaltending roster. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.